everybody, welcome back to My Big Sister Podcast. My name is Grace and this is my big sister Josie.
And in today's episode we're going to be talking about the rise of skinny-tok and why you don't need to get a summer body.
We just wanted to give a quick trigger warning for this episode. We're going to be talking about dieting, body image, so if any of those things do trigger you, you might want to skip this one, but we're hoping this is going to be helpful, and obviously we're only going to be talking about things in a positive light, but yeah, just a little trigger warning there, and let's get into the episode. Okay, so this week I thought we would talk about skinny-tok, which I wasn't even aware of up until like a few weeks ago. I feel like it has become a thing maybe since it's been January, and like there's always that thing that rolls around every year where all the like fitness accounts and fitness people are saying you need to diet for summer or like get ready for summer, and I thought it would be worth us talking about it and explaining to you guys why it is all just so stupid and why you should not be, you know, following these people that you see on TikTok which have such triggering things. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about this week. Have you been seeing this skinny-tok thing on your TikTok? I feel like you're not as like chronically online as me, so I don't know if you're seeing as much. Josie, what have you seen about it?
I think I've more seen people talking about how it's silly, like people talking about skinny-tok rather than like quote unquote skinny-tok thing.
Yeah.
But what I have been noticing is actually more like ads that I've been getting a lot of like gym things.
I keep getting ads on TikTok Shop for these like you know, like Ozempic and like the Mounjaro and all those like weight loss injections and stuff. I keep getting ads for these, like they're like nicotine patches, but apparently they're like Mounjaro patches, and you can just buy them on TikTok Shop, and these people are like advertising them to like young girls, and they're like, it stops food noise.
That's
and like
so dangerous.
And I don't know if that's even like legal, or maybe it's just like a fake, like is it just, I don't even know if it has anything like scientific backing to it.
Because don't you need to have injections for that to work? I mean, I don't know the details.
I know, like, I guess skinny-tok also aligns with this rise of like Ozempic and Mounjaro and all these like different weight loss jabs, which I think, I mean, they're meant to, the reason they were created were for like diabetic people, wasn't it? And like people that have like these severe health conditions when they're overweight in like an unhealthy way. But I feel like now all these celebrities are like just buying it and using it when they're not even like a unhealthy weight. And I see like in like the town that we live in, one of the pharmacies just sells it, and like you basically don't have to jump through many hoops to buy that sort of thing.
It's become quite mainstream. It's not even celebrities only anymore, like it's literally everyone, so anyone can just get it wherever.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing for everyone, but the fact that these TikTok videos are like promoting these things is like, to get ready for summer, you should take this thing. I just always think when it comes to like weight loss products, if you're like, it should all be about your health. If your weight is causing health problems, then it makes sense. If your doctor is recommending you these sorts of things, then obviously they're doing it for health reasons. But if you're taking any sort of those jabs for aesthetic reasons, just because you want to look a certain way, I don't think you should be taking them, or that should not be the reasoning behind taking those sorts of things.
But do you think that is behind the rise of this skinny-tok and
I
social
think it's
media
part
being
of
so
it.
obsessed with it?
Well, I think when you look at like body trends and stuff, like back in the early 2000s it was like very like thin, and like all the models and like Kate Moss, and then I feel like the Kardashians got popular, and then it was like curvy and everyone was getting a BBL and like all these surgeries. But then now it's like, I feel like maybe the celebrities are like getting smaller again, but then I don't want to say that, because then I'm like, us talking about it, is that like making it true, like making the trend true that everyone is getting smaller again? But I feel like it is like all the kind of mainstream celebrities that once got these surgeries are now like looking much smaller than they were before.
Yeah, but I just wonder, like, when you talk about these kinds of trends, and obviously if you're online it seems like everyone is doing this and everyone's suddenly losing weight, but if you actually think about your friends, your family, everyone's probably just the same as they always have been. Like, I don't know if necessarily like most people are having like rapid like changes to their body based on like what celebrities are popular right now.
Yeah, I think these trends, it's always like, it just hurts people's mental health. It's not really, you, as you say, like maybe people in real life bodies aren't changing that much, but like it's more that I'm worried for like those teenagers who are going to be seeing all these videos on TikTok about like skinny-tok, and the videos that I see, I've seen a few of the like actual skinny-tok videos, and like there's a few specific creators, and they're literally just like shouting into the camera, like it's really like mean, like they're trying to be like
a drill sergeant,
yeah, be like so horrible that you have to just do what they say. But like I just honestly think all those people, they're always talking about looks, and like none of them are doing it for health reasons, because they're not eating healthily. And just because they're eating a little amount, that doesn't mean it's healthy. Like if you're eating 1 almond a day, that's so much more unhealthy than eating a burger every day. Even though a burger is like unhealthy, it's better to eat more food that's
more nutrition.
Yeah, typically unhealthy foods. You're way better eating that than you would be eating nothing every day. Like I just think none of those TikTok accounts are doing it for health reasons, because being a really low weight isn't healthy for the majority of people, and like there are so many health conditions that can be caused from being underweight.
So because I feel like I don't see these videos, but I think you've collected some examples, haven't you, of ones that you
so we're gonna have a look and like debunk some of them, but as I said at the beginning, we are going to give a little trigger warning, because obviously if you have not been seeing
the content itself might be triggering.
But we're hopefully gonna like explain why these videos are just stupid, and why everything they say in these videos are just silly,
and hopefully like us talking about this, once if you then see this kind of content on your own feed,
back to us,
it might just help you look at it with a slightly different perspective.
And I think before we look at them, I just want to say, like, if you are seeing these really damaging accounts, the easiest thing is to just block them, and I promise you, your brain will stop thinking about it if you're not seeing these things as much.
And click not interested on TikTok as well.
Press not interested.
Sometimes you're not following these people on your For You page, but it'll still come up.
And just block them, and then eventually, once the algorithm resets, you're not going to be seeing that content all the time, because the way that TikTok, like, if I like one video, it will then become the whole feed turns into that. Even those, like, Monjoro sticker things, like, I keep getting those, because I like read the comments on one, because I was like confused what it was, and then I think because TikTok knew I was like on that video for a while, it then started showing me like hundreds of them, and I feel like the social media apps do need to do something about this thing. Like, I know now, when I actually searched skinny-tok this morning to look at some examples, it does say on TikTok like a helpline at the top, but then it still shows you the videos underneath.
But also, realistically, not many people are actually just searching skinny-tok. It's just what comes up in their feed naturally.
Yeah. No, but I think if you do have like an eating disorder, you're going to be searching it because you want to get ideas, and like those things are always so competitive. You're going to want to see what everyone else is doing, and like it's always competitive with those sorts of like mental health issues. But yeah, anyway, let's have a look at some of the ones I found. Again, trigger warning, but hopefully this will maybe help you reframe how you see these videos. One that I saw this morning was someone posted and said, drinking tea instead of a snack because I'm not a dog.
What?
Like, they're saying you shouldn't have snacks because you're not a dog.
But
it's just so, to me, that is just laughable, because I'm like, that got 60,000 likes and it got 10,000 saves.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This is so niche, but do you know like Ruby Frankie and all of the 7 passengers, 8 passengers, whatever it's called? She would like abuse her children by being like, you're not a dog, stop crying. I just feel like that kind of, it's like abusive.
It's so aggressive.
It's abusive to compare a human to a dog.
Yeah, I feel like this is a sort of thing I keep seeing on these skinny-tok. I think the original video I saw someone say was like, I don't give myself treats because I'm not a dog. It's like that sort of thing where they're saying like you shouldn't reward yourself like a dog. But like, it's just like, it's just so, to me, that is just so silly. But I can see how if I was 13 years old seeing that, I would be like, oh my God, so true. Like,
it's just not nice to yourself. It's not kind.
Well, and it's just stupid, because I'm like,
it also
dogs
makes no sense.
Need food to eat, to live, and
they
so
are
do
also
humans. Like, we're all like mammals who need food for energy.
And also, it's basically implying that you're treating your dog better than yourself.
Yeah.
Which is like a bit strange.
And it's like, yeah, I just don't, it just, to me, I'm just like, what on earth? But then all the comments are like, so true.
So does that pop up just on your feed randomly?
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
It's someone doing like a body check on the video. And and everyone's like commenting to stay on skinny-tok. So that sort of thing, it's just, I mean,
I'm glad I'm not on this side of the internet.
Yeah, it is crazy. And literally all these comments, they all say commenting to stay on skinny-tok, commenting because I want to look like you, I want to stay here, remind me not to eat today. Like, honestly, it's,
oh my God,
it's like Tumblr but like rebranded on TikTok.
And is there any like warnings popping up on that video?
No, not on
TikTok?
that video, no. Which I think is really bad, and like TikTok should be taking this sort of content down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm gonna go report that video when we're done.
It.
But just, there's a million videos like that on skinny-tok, and that's kind of the vibe of all of them. Or it's like these people who look very slim, very athletic, and they're like, I'm fat, so I'm going to the gym today. And it's like so aggressive. It's like, you must go to the gym today because you're lazy. Like, it's just so like aggressive.
Yeah.
And I just hate that it's become like a thing, and like people are seeing this regularly, and like young girls are going to be seeing these videos on their feed.
They think that kind of self-talk about like being aggressive to yourself is normal and okay, and then that can actually change your own psychology and like your own way of thinking about yourself.
If you're thinking about yourself like that in terms of food, you're going to start hating yourself as well, like your other things about you, because you're literally, it's like dehumanizing yourself to say that you don't deserve a snack or a treat because you look a certain way. Like, it's just crazy that this stuff is allowed on the internet. Yeah, so if you search it on TikTok, it says you are more than your weight. If you or someone you know has questions about body image, food or exercise, it's important to... So you do get this like thing on TikTok.
Yeah.
But like,
it's better than nothing.
Me as a 12-year-old, I'm not gonna like go on that and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna...
Yeah.
It's just... And people like give me toxic motivation tips to lose weight. Like, people are actively wanting, like, rude comments about them to, like, encourage them. It's just so, like, competitive. It's literally, like, people with eating disorders, like, egging each other on and being, like, competitive with each other. And I just can't believe it's allowed on TikTok.
Yeah, the thing is, those videos should just be taken down. It shouldn't just have, like, a nice little message at the top saying...
It should be against community guidelines. Yeah. Like, when someone posts a video of them in a bikini, it always gets taken down. So why can't TikTok do the same thing? And it's even easier, probably, for the algorithm to find the videos because you've got the hashtag skinny-tok on all these videos. So, like, I don't know why TikTok hasn't just banned it, or, like, any of these platforms. It's so bad. And something needs to be done to change it.
If TikTok wants to come on the podcast, please let us know. We'd like to talk to you about it.
If I do feel like sometimes I talk to people that work at TikTok, so I'm gonna...
It would be interesting to talk to them.
Yeah, because I just don't know how they don't stop these things from happening. But then I guess...
But it's so difficult because there are so many videos, and maybe sometimes they're not directly under the hashtag,
and I think
they have ways of getting around it.
I think what makes these people want to keep posting as well is these videos are doing well.
Yeah.
So if someone who doesn't have many followers posts a video like this and it does well, they're going to want to post more, and then it becomes a thing. The same way your like eating disorder brain is competitive, and then all the comments are praising you and saying you look great, give me your workout routine, and then it's just like everyone, it just like goes and just creates more and more harmful content the more videos that are posted, and people like then get dopamine from seeing that people are liking their video and stuff. So yeah, it's just crazy that the algorithm like is pushing out all these videos,
because that's not the algorithm isn't necessarily a human at TikTok being like, yes, we allow this, but it's just, if that is what is getting the engagement and the views, then the algorithm that they've built will just push that out.
Yeah.
Even if that's not actually the app's intention, or they are aware that it's an issue.
Yeah. I think maybe TikTok should have some sort of thing in place with like age restriction. You know, the same way how on YouTube you have to say like, is this content suitable for under 18s? Then maybe on TikTok there should be a thing where like you have to say like if your video is like should be viewed by under 18s, because I think at least these videos should be restricted to under 18 shouldn't be able to see them.
And it is tricky because a lot of it sometimes is kind of messaging that will really only be understood by a certain audience. Like, it's not necessarily like they're inflicting violence or like racism or things that would be directly against a guideline. Like that thing of like, oh, I'm just gonna drink tea instead of a snack. You could technically say that's not actually like breaking any of the guidelines, even though you still know that it's harmful.
It's the intention behind
so it's
the
like
video.
A very difficult line, and I can actually see how that would be quite difficult to control. But that's the whole issue, is like it's this really like insidious mentality that is like difficult to pin down and be like,
well, it's like
that's wrong,
someone
that's
would
right.
be like, well, I'm just promoting being healthy, like,
yeah, and then
they could excuse the
and
behavior.
then you could say like, oh well, obviously like not all weight loss is eating disorder, and then it's like, where do you draw the line there? And it's like so complicated.
Yeah, but I think the apps have gotten better. Like, I remember when I was younger and I would go on like Instagram, I used to see really harmful things on Instagram. Like, I used to see that you could search up basically anything and see like people like harming themselves and stuff. You used to be able to see that on Instagram. Yeah, I remember like these accounts you used to like see, yeah, all these like people giving tips to each other and stuff. So I'm glad that I think most of those sorts of things where it's like violence and like self-harm are blocked now on most of the apps, but it's like, yeah, this is still self-harm if you're...
It's just more subtle.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's harder for, I guess, for the apps to like detect it. But things like the hashtag, surely TikTok can ban that hashtag, like, or at least restrict it to over 18s.
Or at least like have someone who's have like a department that's specifically like
safeguarding,
watching that hashtag specifically. Or something.
And like stopping those accounts. Another thing I always see on skinny-tok is, well, people are always doing like body checks, and that's another thing that's kind of like a bit of a touchy subject, because it's like what counts as a body check and what counts as just like when I film an outfit video and I'm like, you know, showing how my outfit looks from the side or whatever. But I feel like there is, you kind of know, like if you know that kind of community, you can kind of tell like what is just a body check. But I keep seeing videos where it's a body check and they're saying their height, their weight, there's this trend I saw where it was like, why would she be jealous of me? And then it had their height, their weight, their like clothes size, their shoe size, and I was like, what is that? What, someone's jealous because your shoe size 6? Like, what? And it was like your hair length and like all these like statistics about you, and it would be like, why would she be jealous of me?
Even
like
down to the length of your hair.
That's
crazy.
And I just think when you're trying to like compare yourself in terms of weight, I think when I was younger I didn't realize how different weights can be, and how like everything, I would say the majority of stuff when it comes to how your body looks is mainly genetics, and then there's also like health conditions you may have. There's some things just like, if you're someone who's got bigger boobs, you're obviously going to weigh more than someone with smaller boobs, and that's just genetics.
It took me a long time to realise, because I'm quite tall, that I'm obviously going to weigh more than someone that's shorter.
Yeah, and I think it's so stupid how even now, like when you go to your GP or your doctor, they like do your BMI, which is like a thing where you work out it's like your height and your weight.
Yeah.
But obviously height, you know, has an impact, but also there's so many other things that can impact your weight that when you look at your BMI, that doesn't show whether you're healthy or not. And like people that are like, you know, go to the gym and have loads of muscles, their BMI would say they're overweight, but that's just because muscle weighs more than fat, and they're, you know, very muscly. And it's the same with just like, if you've got long hair, that's going to weigh more than someone with short hair. There's so many silly things that like you don't think of that is going to contribute to your weight. And like me, I've got metal in my back, that's going to add to my weight. So if I went on skinny-tok and put my weight, even if you're the exact same height as me and the exact same weight as me, you would not look the same as me. And it's the same with like your bone structure. Like when I look at my x-rays of my back, like you can see that I've got wide hips, and like all our family has wide hips. But if someone else weighed the same as me, their hips would look different, because it's literally down to like your bone structure. And I just think it's crazy how like these skinny-tok, they're basically saying like, if you're the same height as me, if you weigh the same as me, this is your result. Where it's like, it's so stupid, because your weight can be affected by so many different things. Like if you've drunk water that day, like what's in your stomach, that's actually like weight. If you need to go to the toilet, you're gonna weigh less. Like there's so many things that can affect your actual numerical weight. And I think it is bad that doctors still use like BMI as like a health metric and like has that on your like system.
Yeah, there's a lot of like different factors that go into it, and it's just not so straightforward, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we kind of touched on the skinny-tok now, but let's talk about like the pressure of dieting for summer, because I feel like this is such a big thing. I feel like we talked about this in our first ever episode, because in January I feel like there is such a big
push. There's periods throughout the year where it becomes more of a thing,
and it's all just like marketing basically. When in January, that's when all the gyms start, you know, doing these January deals, and then you get like the supermarkets coming out with these healthy things. So I think I have been seeing a lot on TikTok recently, I don't know if you've seen this, where people are saying you know how everyone is obsessed with like protein, and like it's kind of the new trend of like healthy is lots of protein, and everyone's eating all these protein things. And then I've actually been seeing these TikToks where it's like, you don't need to be eating more protein, you need to be eating more fiber. And it says like young people are dying of colon cancer, not of lack of protein.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing those videos, but then I'm like, okay, well that is probably true. But then I'm like, is that just another fad? Is that just another trend of like, people now are trying to sell high fiber food? And it's like,
I don't know. See, this is the thing, is like some of these things are true. Like we do need to eat more fiber. Like that genuinely is like good for
something
you
need.
And it's not a dieting thing, because fiber is just in everything.
It's
so
in all vegetables and fruits,
like
so
fiber is in anything that is healthy basically, or anything that is not processed. So like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is just another like thing to focus on that is a bit of a trend.
Because then if you spend your whole life,
they've run out of
trying
ideas
to only eat
at this
fiber,
point.
then you might not be eating enough of other stuff. And like obviously, yes, your body does need protein, because protein helps build muscle, and then you also need carbs, because carbs give your brain energy to work.
And also everyone's so different, like depending on what activity you do, what if I've got a friend who's training for a marathon, she probably needs to eat a lot more pasta than someone who's not. But like also, if you want to just eat pasta,
go
then
for
eat
it.
pasta. Like everyone has very different lifestyles, everyone has different activity levels, and like there's just no one size fits all. Like some people have different deficiencies.
You should never take like nutrition or diet advice from people that don't, like from random strangers.
Anyone that says everyone should be doing this
certain
wrong.
diet,
like there is no one size fits all thing that works.
The only thing in terms of food which I think is true is like eat more vegetables. That's the only thing I would say, that pretty much everyone like that can be but then some people are allergic to certain vegetables, you can't apply everything to everything.
It's just like listening to your body and trying to understand, like if you feel bad after eating something, maybe that's not the right thing for you. If you feel great after eating something, then that maybe is something you should have more of. If you feel like really like satisfied and full after eating something, then that's a good thing. But like, if you also just love to eat a big chocolate egg, then because it makes you happy, then that's also good. But like anyone that's trying to say that there's one size fits all is wrong. And I've also noticed that it's like a cycle throughout the year. It's like Christmas, everyone's generally eating quite a lot of stuff, so guess what happens in January? All the healthy stuff comes out. Then they're like, okay, we're bored now, we're gonna get you to eat loads of chocolate at Easter, and then after that we're gonna sell you like lose weight for summer. And then it just goes in this cycle throughout the year, and everyone's just like forced to be on this like roller coaster, when realistically you should just be doing whatever you want to do and try not to listen to what's being pushed onto you in the shop.
I honestly think like if you go, like if you're worrying about how you're going to look in summer, if you just go out in real life and like go to a beach or go to a pool, not everyone looks like these skinny-tok amazing models on social media.
Go hang out with a load of old grannies.
Like go to your public swimming pool and you will realise that no one looks perfect. And like even these models, like you see these paparazzi pictures of celebrities, and like if they get a picture in a bad angle, they're not going to look perfect all the time either. And like it's the same with like, I always think when I'm like feeling bad about if I've got like spots or like acne, I always think about how like celebrities, you see those like paparazzi pictures of them with makeup on and their skin isn't perfect. And I know like Kendall Jenner suffers with acne, and I'm like, she has all the money in the world. If she can't fix her acne, I can't fix, like there's no product, money can't buy perfection. Like even these people with all this plastic surgery, there's still things they're going to be insecure about, and there's still things where if you get a picture at a bad angle, you're going to look not the best, and like there's just no money can't buy like perfection. And you see that with those celebrities, and I'm not saying they don't look great, they do look great, but it's like they still get picked apart for their appearance by the paparazzi, when it's like, you just can't win. And I always think, I mean, skincare, there's things that can make your skin look better, but there's nothing that I feel like will properly fix like hormonal acne, because if there was, these celebrities wouldn't have hormonal acne, but they do. So like I always think that, and like I've seen like Alex Earle open up a lot about her acne, and like I know she goes to like get facials and things, but she still suffers with the acne. So I'm like, if she can't fix it, then I definitely can't fix
well,
it.
yeah,
Like,
it's like a hormonal thing in a lot of cases, and that is just like really hard to fix.
yeah, and there's just so many things like on TikTok, we've said before, like all these kind of made up insecurities where it's like most of these things that people are insecure about are just like features of being a human, like the strawberry legs or the like hip dips or anything. Like hip dips are a thing because that's what your bone does in your body. Like it's just so stupid how these things are just made up to try and sell you stuff or like make you feel bad when really it's just features of like being a human.
I've been feeling lately as well, like, you know, the whole summer body thing. It's like, oh, suddenly you've been wearing clothes this whole time and then suddenly you just like have your arms and your legs out. Do you feel like in cold countries that's more of a thing? Because when I lived in Australia, I swear that just wasn't a thing, because people were wearing t-shirts and vest tops most of the year round and like shorts. And I noticed the other day when it was hot enough and I was wearing shorts for the first time, and literally everyone, like you and mum, were like, oh, you're wearing shorts. And it's just funny how like in England it's such a mental thing of like wearing less covering on your clothes.
You're not used to it. Like you spend all winter very covered up.
So I feel like it is maybe more of a thing in colder countries when it gets hot.
Yeah,
like
or countries where you have like 2 distinct seasons.
Yeah, it's like suddenly you're uncovering your body again, which you didn't do before. But I feel like when I lived in Sydney, I never thought of that as a thing.
Yeah, but then I do see people saying how like in countries where it's hot all the time, there are higher rates of eating disorders because you do have your body out all the time. So I mean, it's good that in Sydney you didn't feel that way, obviously, because you know feel
but then
pretty
there are a lot of
confident.
people who are quite obsessed with their health and fitness and
in
stuff.
Australia the eating disorder rate is higher than the UK. I've seen that before, because I feel like in Australia there is very much like a fitness culture, not necessarily always in a bad way, but it's just people are more active there because the weather's nice all the time and you can walk everywhere.
Yeah, well, maybe part of that is
going
because
to the beach
people are just seeing their body more often. Maybe it is not necessarily a positive thing. Maybe the people are like, oh well, I'm just more aware of how my body looks. I don't know.
I mean, if anyone listening to this lives in a country where it's like cold 24/7 and you're always covered up, I wonder how that can affect your relationship with your body. Obviously you're still seeing your body when you like shower and stuff, but like
it's just not as much.
It's not as much like judgment and like maybe feeling like people are seeing your body more. I don't know, it is weird, and I feel like it's a thing with like I also get videos of people being like, when it's time to like get your arms out, and like there's so many. I feel like maybe it is in England centric where it's like, I
think so.
There's a thing with
I've only been noticing it this year as it's like
as it's
transitioning
gone from winter to summer.
Cold to hot.
But I do think like when, in terms of like your body changing in summer, I feel like generally, if I think about it, maybe I do normally weigh a bit more in winter, maybe because you
don't want to go on long walks and stuff.
And I feel like it's pretty normal and natural, like for our bodies to change throughout the year. And maybe I am more active in summer, and maybe I do weigh a bit less in summer if I like maybe think about it. But I don't really ever weigh myself, so I'm not really sure. But I just think it's so normal for your body to fluctuate. And like back in the day when humans were like hunter-gatherers, they did used to eat a lot more, and then maybe in summer they didn't eat as much.
To keep you warmer in the winter.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a thing where you're thinking like, now it's summer I need to eat less, but maybe just, naturally some people fluctuate in their weight because they're more active in summer. And also just what you tend
to eat in summer is more like salads and like fresh things.
Well, I guess because in England those foods are what's being grown that time of year, but I guess it just depends what country you're in to what like food you're used to eating different times of year. But I just think your body changing, like, it shouldn't be such a big scary thing. And I think this is me justifying my amount of jeans and stuff, but I feel like I do keep a lot of clothes in different sizes, but just because I know that my body's going to change throughout the year, and like I have some pairs of jeans that are slightly baggier and some that are slightly tighter, because I know that I want to always have a pair that's going to make me feel nice, and whether one day it's the baggier pair or one day it's the tighter pair, like it just I think having clothes and being okay with sizing up or sizing down when it comes to like summer. Maybe those denim shorts you get from last year aren't going to fit you anymore. I feel like denim shorts are like a cause a lot of body image issues in summer, because denim shorts are so annoying to like get on if you've got like thick thighs. And if you're sweating, it's like, and you need to pee and you're wearing denim shorts and you're like in a public toilet trying to get your denim shorts off.
It's really weird why are denim shorts so much more comfortable than jeans? Are they like cut differently or like? I don't understand.
Yeah, denim shorts are much more uncomfortable.
They're like tighter around the like you know.
Do you think it's just because we're like sweating in summer, so then you're sweating and they're harder to get off?
Or maybe it is just because like you don't wear them for a whole year and then your body has changed and then you're just always trying to fit into something that doesn't fit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna like buy some new denim shorts this year, because a lot of mine, like, they do fit me, but then like they're much tighter than they were when I first bought them, and like you're trying to convince yourself like, yeah, I can fit into these this year, but really you just save yourself a lot of effort by just getting some new ones. And obviously that's only if you can afford to get some new jeans, but like putting things on Vinted and like going to the charity shop, trying to find a new pair that fits you. I feel like for me, going on like Vinted and getting like some vintage like Levi's denim shorts.
Yeah, there's so much for quite cheap on there. You can get them for like £20 or something, which is way cheaper than you get them new.
I remember one year I ordered like 4 or 5 different Levi's denim shorts, and then I knew probably most of them wouldn't fit, because it's always hard to try and find shorts and jeans that fit me, and one of them fitted perfect, so I'd spent about £25 because they were all £5 each, and then I'd spent £25, I found one perfect pair, then I just sold the rest on Vinted again.
Did you sell them for more than you bought them?
I think it was like similar, and some of them I gave to my friends if they and like I think my mum took a pair, and then
I've probably got a pair.
By the end I'd spent less than a new pair of jeans, and and
it was the perfect fit,
fit, and then I'd given away the rest or sold them. So I think that could be a good method to try and find a pair, or like go to a charity shop if one near you has lots of different jean options. I feel like charity shops in England though are not as good as like the ones in America.
It depends where you are. If you go to some places in London, if you go to like the rich areas of London, there's some really good charity shops.
But I feel like when I see
average
like
town
thrift stores in America, they're like these massive places with like a million denim shorts, whereas in the UK you'd be lucky to find one pair.
Well, I think what we think of a thrift store here, or what they call a thrift store, is like our TK Maxx. Like that's actually considered to be a thrift store.
What, like
kind of?
What do you mean?
Like a TK Maxx is kind of like their version of a thrift store.
Stores are made of like donated items, aren't they? I don't know. If anyone's watching this and is in America, please explain what a thrift store is. Because in the UK we have like charity shops where it's like you donate your clothes and then they sell them, and then the money that they've sold it for goes to charity.
Yeah, I don't know if thrift stores necessarily always go to charity.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish when I was in New York last year I'd gone to a thrift store, because I would love to just see.
My favourite thing to do when I'm like on holiday in like a big city is to just go to like vintage stores and thrift stores, because you do just find some really interesting things that you just would never find in your own country.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know how we got onto this tangent.
Yeah, well, denim shorts, I would say.
Yeah.
If they don't fit, you just size up this summer.
My tip for denim shorts that I've been doing, and this might not suit everyone, but I really like the like bigger, longer, like almost Bermuda shorts. Do you know what I mean?
They're called jorts.
But that's just jean shorts,
no,
isn't it?
Jorts.
What?
It's like a thing.
Is it?
People call it's like the baggy, longer.
I didn't know that was jorts. I thought jorts was just all denim shorts.
The word comes from jean shorts, but no, people now call like if it's like a long baggy boxy short, that's like a jort.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you search jort onto like a clothes website, it will come up with the ones you like.
I thought they were just called Bermuda jean shorts.
No, jorts.
Okay.
You know, like the baggy, like you know what, like Billie Eilish wears.
Not those. I think I more mean like they're kind of like high waisted and like smaller on the waist, and then they kind of flare out like a bit like this.
You're talking about like balloon ones?
No, not balloon.
I don't like balloon jeans.
They're like Bermuda shorts.
I don't know what Bermuda. That's a country, isn't it? Like Bermuda Triangle.
Just search Bermuda jean shorts and you know what I mean.
Well, I like jorts, whatever that is. I like jorts because they are not as tight. So
they're just like baggier.
Yeah, but then sometimes I do like a tight jean short.
I don't like jean shorts where you have to get your bum out, and I know that's like such a mum thing to say. I don't like when you get your bum out, but like I just personally don't feel comfortable.
I think I like that if it was like a beach day and I'm wearing my bikini, then it's like, well, my bum's already out in the bikini, so it's, you know, I'm covering up more than I was.
Yeah,
so.
And it's not like I necessarily like care or think anyone else shouldn't be wearing that, but for me personally, I just always find myself like pulling it down. I feel like any clothing that you're wearing where you have to like adjust it all the time, for me, I just don't feel comfortable, and I don't think it looks good.
One thing about me in summer with jean shorts is like I hate having to sit on like a train or a bus.
Oh yeah,
and on like a hard
and your
plastic
legs get
seat.
on all the dirty, dusty seats.
Yeah, or
it's
if
really
you're in like a
gross.
plastic seat and then you get up and they're all stuck to the seat.
Or if you're on the tube and all like the
and
dust
it starts
and
feeling all
skin.
itchy. Yeah, and you're like, oh, why am I my legs touching this? I saw a video on TikTok of a guy like with his bare bum out on the tube seat, and everyone was like, this is why you should never like have your legs out on the tube.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I only ever wear long denim shorts.
On the tube.
That's why I'd never have short
I always
shorts,
shower as soon as I get home if I've been on the tube, because I'm like, oh, goodness me.
But they haven't cleaned those seats for like
I saw a video of someone
years.
getting like a carpet cleaner on it, and it was just like,
and if you like
horrible.
hit them and all this dust comes out. And it's like,
that is one thing I liked when I went to New York last year. All the tube seats, or at least the tubes I went on, were all like hard plastic, so it felt
much better idea,
much cleaner, because like you could see if there was like something dirty on it.
Carpet is
whereas
gross.
The tube is just like, I don't know why they do. I guess it's more comfy.
And
but then
the patterns like that they've chosen is specifically to hide any dirt.
Yeah, and
so
like
then it's like,
you're like, what
hiding?
colour is this meant to be? It's like a weird mix of grey colours. Yeah, I hate the tube. I always avoid the tube in summer as much as possible. I think another thing about summer and like dressing in summer that can be like awkward is, I feel like when you're a girl and it's hot and then you're wearing like little clothes, then people in the street are always like staring. Like I feel like it's so annoying when like builders are like catcalling you, and it's like, I'm literally so warm that this is all I can wear. Like I hate that girls are made to feel like they have to cover up. I mean, it happens.
I literally was walking here today, and some men outside this cafe were like, beautiful lady, and I was like, I'm wearing like the baggiest, most covered clothes ever, like why am I getting this comment? So then like what would you get in the summer?
Literally, I feel like anything I even wear, like if I'm walking to the gym, anything tight, you feel awkward. Anything that's like shorts, you feel awkward. If you're dressed nice and look nice and have makeup on, your hair done, then you feel awkward. Like and then even sometimes when I feel like I look bad, then I'm like, it sometimes feels like they're like judging me because they don't find me attractive. I don't know. It's just like,
I feel like maybe that might be a bit in your head, but it's interesting to unpack that.
I just hate like
that last one.
Men on the street.
Oh, well,
like,
that's not in your head. That is that is like true, but
And in London, I feel like there's so much construction everywhere. Like, there's just...
It's so weird. I know I keep talking about Australia, but, like, the whole, like, building site, like, catcalling thing just doesn't happen there.
Does it not?
There's so many, just, like, construction. And a lot of women work on construction sites in Australia. Like, it's more common. Like, you'll see a lot of, like, girls holding the stop-start sign outside of a construction site for, like, the traffic and stuff. And I don't know if that has something to do with it, or if it's just more like everyone kind of works in construction. I just feel like there's less commentary about it. And also like, because everyone's wearing activewear, everyone's wearing shorts and t-shirts. No one's looking at you.
It's not weird
specifically.
To see. Yeah, it's probably like less common to be shocked by someone's outfit. Yeah. Whereas I feel like in England, if you're wearing not many clothes, like because it's a hot day, the builders are like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it's like a novelty.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but it's just so gross.
It's
like
quite weird.
I remember it used to happen to me way more when I was in school as well.
Ew.
Like when you have your school skirt on in summer with no tights. Like, but I remember just like
horrible.
One time, it was literally when I was like 13, and me and my friend Ella and Tia were like walking to the park, and these builders literally stopped their van and like shouted out at us, and we were like 12 years old. Like, it's so creepy.
I feel like if I wish that when you're that age you had the like confidence to just be like, I'm 13, you're a pedo.
Yeah, or like call the police and be like, this registration plate.
Should be like, I'm 13, I'm gonna call the police. Yeah, that's what everyone should say if that ever happens to you.
Yeah, but then it's scary because it's like you don't want them to get out their van and like attack you. Like, it's so scary.
I know,
because
really
you want to call, and it's the same with the builders. Like, you want to say something back, but then it's like, you know, as a woman on your own, like, it's, you don't want to cause like any sort of conflict with someone like that. And it's just like, I don't know what can be really helped.
I know.
But
so yeah,
you shouldn't be made to feel like you should cover up in summer, especially when it's hot. Like,
I don't really know what the solution is. I think the best solution would be if everyone just wore like whatever they wanted to wear more often, like, and wore like dressed for the hot weather. But then in England, then everyone would be used to it.
But then in England, like half the year it is cold. So
I know, that's the problem. It's like, you can't really like practice it when it's so cold.
Yeah, now you say it, I feel like that is something to do with like what country you live in, to how
It
like
is.
the season changing affects your like brain and like how you think about your body and stuff. But then, yeah, like we said, if you're in Australia, you might even feel worse because you have to be wearing less clothes all the time.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance, so I don't really know, but it'd be interesting to look at like a study about it or something.
Yeah,
like I'm
what
really
countries
intrigued.
have worse like rates of stuff.
Like what about like Finland, where it's like freezing all the time? They're some of the happiest countries in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I did ask you guys some questions on this topic, so we're going to go through them quickly. So if you do want to send in some questions, we do have our email address open now. If you want to send in like longer dilemmas or you want to make sure it's anonymous, you can send it on the email, which is mybigsisterpodcast@gmail.com, or we're always adding the question boxes on our Instagram too. So if you want to see those, then follow us at My Big Sister Podcast on Instagram. That's it, yeah. Isn't it? I'm getting confused now.
You got it right.
But yeah, let's have a look at what you guys said. Actually, someone said, how do I deal with bloating in summer when my tummy is like out in crop tops and stuff? I feel like that, another thing is like, yeah, when your body is out, sometimes you can feel like if I eat food, then it's going to be like, I'm going to get bloated, or like it's going to be on show. I feel like they mentioned that on skinny-tok as well. But I always think, when you actually think deep down, when you eat food, it's going to take up room in your stomach. Like, I feel like I make videos about, like, bloating. I don't know if bloating is the right word, because does bloating mean, like, painful bloating?
Well,
I don't know.
It's tricky because, like, obviously if you're having severe painful bloating,
and, like,
you might want to maybe
issues,
go
like,
to the doctor
if you have,
about
like,
that.
If you're intolerant to certain foods,
Yeah.
that sort of bloating. But when I say bloating, I just mean like when you eat and your stomach is going to get a bit bigger. That is just like what happens to everyone. Like, even if you're eating the healthiest foods, especially if you're eating like salad or something where it's like it's quite physically a big, you know, bowl of food, when that goes into your body and it hasn't been digested yet, it's obviously going to make your tummy look bigger. Like, I feel like that is so, when you think about it, it's just like such a natural human thing to happen that I don't know how now we've like been made to feel insecure about it. And there's all these anti-bloating products and like, you know, those sorts of green drinks and green powder stuff that's meant to like help bloating.
I think the thing that my brain goes to is just trying to make sure your clothes fit how your body actually is. And that doesn't mean your body when it's like the flattest, most like you haven't eaten anything for ages and, you know, you're feeling smaller. It's making sure your clothes fit you for when you're at whatever size you're going to be, whether that's bigger or smaller. Yeah,
no, I mean, I always do that. Like, if I know I'm going to go to dinner and eat a lot of food that day, I will pick
I'm not going to wear my tight jeans.
Yeah, or I'll wear my baggy jeans, or I'll pick like a stretchy like leggings or something. And that's not because like it's a bad thing for your tummy to get bigger. Yeah. It's just like your natural, that's just what happens when you eat food. Like, food takes up the same amount of room inside of you as it did outside of you. So if you're eating a plate of food, it's going to take up that much room before it gets digested.
And I think we do a lot of the time because, you know, fast fashion is a thing and no one really like values fit very well. Like, people think it's their fault if the clothes aren't fitting you, but actually we forget that clothes should fit our body, and it is very difficult sometimes to find clothes that do fit because clothes are designed with very specific like guidelines of like, this is a size 8, this is a size 10. No one is actually those sizes, and everyone has slight differences on whether it's your waist or your hips or the length of your legs. Like, there's a million different things that can affect fit. And I just think if you are feeling like your clothes aren't fitting you when you're being bloated, it's just that your clothes are the wrong size or that you maybe need to, you know, try something that is a different, you know, makes you feel more comfortable. Like, if you're feeling uncomfortable in your clothes, it's not you that's the problem, it's the clothes.
Yeah, I think one thing that's helped me with that is actually wearing low-waisted jeans more, because before I would think like, oh, I should wear high jeans because it's going to hide my stomach. But then actually when you're going out for dinner and eating a lot of food, if you're wearing tighter like high-rise jeans, it's going to hurt because they're tight. Your stomach, Whereas if I wear jeans that sit on my hips, then yes, my stomach might look bigger because it's out and I'm, you know, gonna have to learn to be okay with that, but it's so much more comfy to have my stomach just out and not like you know, sucked in with all this denim. It's so much comfier for me to wear low-waisted. So actually, when I know I'm going for dinner, I will, wear low-waisted jeans over high-rise ones because I know it's going to be comfier for me. Someone said how to deal with an almond mum when it comes to summer dieting. I feel like that is so hard because if your whole family or your mum is like pushing this on you, like you need to be ready for summer, that's even worse than social media because it's like in your house, like you can't even relax.
You can't escape that.
You can't block your mum in real life. So like it can be really hard. But I think, I mean, if you're much younger, like I don't really know what can help, like if your mum is such like an extreme almond mum where she's really dieting and like it's so hard not to take that to heart and to not want to copy those actions.
I think the best thing you can do, and obviously some people will take this better than others, is just try to have an honest conversation with what they're saying is making you feel. And I think a lot of the time they don't realise they're doing it, that it's so ingrained, especially the older generations. You know, they've grown up with Trini and Susanna with these horrible, like, what was it, like super size versus super skinny,
fat families,
secret eaters, all these like ridiculous programs that just made all of this
and just
stuff
like
seem
Weight
normal.
Watchers and all these things.
And that is what they've grown up with, all these magazines that promote all this sort of stuff for like years and years and years, since like forever basically. So I guess just trying to have a little bit of compassion for their experience, but at the same time putting some boundaries in, like explaining to them how it's making you feel.
I think maybe trying to show them, like, if you can watch a documentary. I know Louis Theroux did one about eating disorders and I found that quite insightful, like maybe trying to educate them on like the effect that seeing them can then have on their children. And there are lots of documentaries that show like the bad sides of dieting and like that sort of thing. So maybe like just putting it on while she's in the room, like if you're in the living room, put on a documentary like that and it might kind of subtly get the message across. Or if you feel comfortable, like maybe, you know, say how you're feeling and say like, I feel like I need to talk to someone. Maybe you should also be going to see someone to help with your habits, because not making me feel good.
Most parents don't want to make their child have an eating disorder or anything. Like they just are doing what they think is best in their own head. That doesn't mean that
normal to them.
That doesn't mean that that's the right thing. So sometimes, unfortunately, the child sometimes does have to slightly educate the parent in some situations.
Yeah, but then I think some people's parents like are actively encouraging and it's competitive in their house of like, I've eaten less than you today. I think if you have that sort of I mean,
depends on
move
your
out
age,
as fast as you can. Some people can't be helped if they've grown up with that for so long and they still generally believe that that's a good thing and that they're teaching their children to have those behaviours. But I think, I mean, if you have like another parent in the house, maybe open up to them. If you have brothers or sisters, if you have older siblings, maybe they can try and talk some sense into your mum.
That's a good point. Like if you have brothers especially, I think a lot of the time boys just do not get the same messaging as girls, and so maybe like just saying to your brother, if you have one, like being like, why aren't you saying this to me, and like pointing out the contradiction.
I feel like sometimes when it's like mums and sons, like if their son plays sports, they'll be like, you need to eat lots, you're in the football team, whatever, and then it's like the girl is like, you don't need to eat much because it's summer soon.
I mean,
like,
we don't have brothers, so we don't know really what that's like.
But I feel like there probably is double standards in a lot of families in terms of that, or like the mum would make all the women a smaller portion for dinner and then the men will get a bigger portion. So I think, well, if you can, try and start cooking your own food, buying your own food if you have, you know, a job and you can afford to get, you know, snacks. If you have to, hide snacks in your room, like get a mini fridge in your room, and then like hopefully, you know, if you're eating on your own, then there won't be comments made if your mum isn't seeing you. But
I feel like hiding it is just going to make things worse though.
But like if you physically aren't eating enough because there's nothing to eat at home, you're going to have like...
True.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if you have like friends, parents who you trust, maybe talk to them, try and have dinner at their house more often than that you're eating at your house. You know, if you can afford to, go and eat dinner with your friends. And like, I think, I mean, if you have like teachers you trust at school, maybe at school try and eat a lot at lunchtime if you're then not getting much at dinner time and stuff like that. But I think it's just so hard when it's someone who's had that their whole life, the mum, and like that it's quite hard to change those habits if they've been doing it for like a whole lifetime. But I think it's such a common thing with mums of like that generation, because they've grown up like us, but 100 times worse, like media and stuff. So I think,
and a lot of the time they haven't grown up consuming like the messaging around mental health and like, you know,
body positivity,
doing the inner work of like questioning your own thought patterns and things. Like they don't know how to do that a lot of the time. So but
I think trying to educate them, put on a documentary and try and like get some compassion, and if that fails, then you're just gonna have to find people you trust and just wait until you can move out, unfortunately. I think someone said, I want to start going to the gym again, but I don't want to get caught in old habits. What should I do? I think that is really hard, because there's people where like you might have struggled with eating issues or like disordered eating when you're younger, and you know you don't want to go back into those habits, but then also it can be a good and healthy thing to be exercising at the gym. And I think it's hard. Like if you have had an eating disorder and you've been severely ill from it, I don't know if going back to the gym, especially quite soon after, is a good thing. But if it's been like years, it's touchy, because it's like you might just want to exercise to have fun or just to move your body and to be like healthy, but it's like a fine line of like you need to watch yourself and see if it's becoming like that addictive thing, and like being like, if you're having those thoughts again, then you probably should stop going.
I think for me personally, I've noticed a difference in certain types of like classes. Specifically, there's a different mentality. Like we've started trying to go to a new gym where they have like different types of classes,
like Pilates,
and there's
yoga.
One that's like super competitive, where they strap the heart rate monitor to you,
like
and
the
it's
sort
like
of boot camp exercise
it's
classes.
literally like on the board, it's like competing as who's working the hardest. But then you'll go to another class and
like yoga,
and the instructor will be like, do it all at your own pace.
If you can't do it, that's fine, have a rest.
Go into child's pose whenever you need and all that. And for me personally, I just love classes like Pilates and yoga, because they have such a different mindset.
Also, I feel like because they're quite female dominated, somehow that makes me feel less like...
Yeah, it's less of that aggressive macho energy.
Yeah, like, and there's less chance of like getting anxious about going to the class. But I think finding what works for you. Maybe that's just like going on more walks. Like if you are someone that's trying to get more active, but you're worried about that sort of mentality, maybe just go on a walk every day. Like just seeing the sun have the sun on your face, you know, listen to a podcast, listen to this podcast, get some headphones and go on a little walk every day. I mean, it's coming up to summer now, so it's nice to just get out of the house and go on a walk. There's lots of things you can do where like you're not like tracking it. I feel like when it comes to like if you have like an Apple Watch or something and you start to like track things, or like the people that are encouraging you to count calories again, that's something you never want to do again, probably, if you've had issues with that in the past. So finding exercises where it's like you don't need to be like tracking stuff. Like I feel like sometimes even if you're just going to a normal gym, when you're doing weights and you can see the numbers, that can be a bit like addictive, and you know every week you're trying to lift more weights or like run faster.
I've noticed that at some gyms they like regularly have a scales there, like right in the middle of the gym, which
and that can be awkward.
Is quite strange, I find.
So I think finding a form of exercise that isn't so like numerical and like trackable, and maybe that's like playing tennis with your friends, or going on a dog walk, swimming. I feel like there's lots of exercises where like it's not so like, you know, like regimented, so then hopefully that stops you from falling back into habits. But obviously you can still track lots of things in any of those things, but I think just finding what actually makes you feel happy afterwards and happy during it. Like I don't want to do an exercise that makes me feel so horrible during it. And I know some people like that. Some people that do running, they're like, I hate it, and then at the end I feel good. But I'm like, I just want to feel nice the whole way through. I don't want to be punishing myself.
And there's some exercises where it is hard, but you don't hate it. It's like sometimes it can be nice to feel like you're pushing yourself, like especially when I'm doing like Pilates, like if I feel like, oh, like it's quite hard, but in a good way. But if something is making you feel like bad, painful, or you feel like you're going to throw up or something, you're probably taking it too far.
And I think it is hard in terms of like eating. I know like if you're someone who does want to like get into the gym and like start building muscle, all those accounts online will tell you should start counting calories. And I see these videos where it's like, the gym doesn't count unless you're tracking your protein. Like, there's no point going to the gym unless you're eating enough protein. I'm like, no, there is a point. Like, you don't always have to be, like, because aiming the point to be the best of the best.
To feel, like, mentally better. Like, for me, I exercise, well, firstly, because it stops my back hurting, but also just because I feel mentally, like, I feel the endorphins and, like, it makes me feel good. But that's nothing to do with really how my body looks. My body might change in result of that, and maybe if I feel I've got a little bit of a bicep, then that makes me feel happy. But like, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, I'm just doing the exercise just to change my body.
I always think, I saw a quote that was like, your body reflects your lifestyle shouldn't reflect how you want your body to look. So like, your body just ends up looking like your lifestyle. You shouldn't be changing your lifestyle to get a certain body. I think that's what the quote is. Does that make sense?
I don't know if I understand that now that I'm thinking about it more.
You shouldn't change your lifestyle to get a certain body. You shouldn't, like, start doing all these exercises to get a certain body shape. Your body will just look however it looks based on your lifestyle. If you live an active lifestyle, you might have more muscles than someone that doesn't, but it shouldn't be like you're forcing yourself to change your life and how you want to live your life to get a certain body. Your body is just going to end up looking as a reflection of what you do. Like, like, if you're a swimmer, you might have a swimmer's body because those muscles are used more and, like, whatever, but you shouldn't be like, I'm gonna start swimming because I want a swimmer's body. Like, that shouldn't be the reason. It should just be whatever exercises you like to do, or you might not even want to, like, do, like, formal exercise. Like, I know lots of people that are recovering from eating disorders. You shouldn't feel like you have to be exercising because your body is trying to recover from things.
There are lots of disabilities you might have that means you can't exercise at all, or, like, very limited exercise. So there's just a lot of different scenarios.
I always think that when it comes to exercising, like, I need to remember that I have had a spinal fusion and, like, I can't do the same things that a normal able-bodied person can do. And, like, when I'm in exercise classes and I'm like, oh no, I can't do it, I'm like, no, I actually have, like, what is essentially like a disability. And
do you tell the teacher most of the time?
Yeah, normally I think
it's good to mention it.
Yeah, because I have metal in my back. I will, if it's a new class, I will try and tell the teacher. But sometimes I am, like, if I'm late and everyone's there, I don't want to be like, explain my whole medical history in front of the whole group. But if I can, I would, like, catch the teacher before or after the class and just let them know. But I don't need to tell I feel like I just say, like, oh, I've got some metal work in my back, but, like, I know what I can and can't do, so I'll just join in when I can. Yeah. But I think when it comes to, like, exercising after you have had a bad experience with exercise, just finding something that you enjoy, whether that's going with a friend, going with your family. I feel like if you're going, like, to the gym with your friends, that can take some of the pressure off, because it's like, you're not going to be able to, like, sit and track everything if your friend's like, what are you doing? And, like, if it's someone you trust and they know your history, then they can, like, make sure you're not, like, constantly checking your Apple Watch or whatever. Like, I feel like going with friends, or, like, just going on more walks, maybe cycling, and
maybe just I know we keep saying it, but the gym isn't the only way of exercising.
Like, you go to a
for
dance
me personally,
class.
I just hate the gym. Like, I've tried to go back several times, but, like, I don't know. I just don't like it.
And there's lots of things you could do, like, from home as well. Like, if you can't afford a membership to somewhere, like, just go on YouTube and you can. I have seen is it called Just Dance, the, like, PlayStation game where you used to, like, dance to the music?
Yeah, I think so.
And you can have those on YouTube. They've, like, uploaded the videos, so you can, like, just, like, put it on your TV and, like, dance along to your favorite songs. Fun. And people do that as exercise. Like, there's so many free things you can do that aren't, like, so serious and, like, so, like, you don't need to become, like, an Olympic level athlete
and be worrying about, like, your form or whatever,
or your protein intake. Like, I think when it comes to anything in terms of, like, being healthy, it's just do what feels good for you, and, like, eat vegetables always, but, like, you don't always need to be I generally think unless you're an Olympic athlete, you should never be tracking your calories, really, unless you have some sort of health reason to do so.
And I just don't think you should ever, like, force yourself to do something. I think if you find the exercise that works for you, you will just want to do it. It's not going to be, like, something you have to force yourself to do. You just genuinely will want to do it. So
I think it's funny how I think I saw a TikTok about this once, how, like, it's weird how now it's so normal to like go to a gym and lift weights, whereas back in the day when we were like early humans, we'd be lifting like logs and be building houses and stuff, and all those like machines at the gym that stimulate certain arm movements and stuff, that's all stuff we would have physically been doing, like the original
but now
humans.
most of us don't.
Whereas now if
you
just have a desk job, like you're not physically lifting and like doing things. But things like, I mean, because I've moved house now and we have a garden, we've been doing a lot more stuff in the garden, and that's really good exercise to be like lifting things and digging up things in the garden. So stuff like that, you don't think of it as exercise, but actually that's, you know, good for your body as well. So things like that,
or even like cleaning sometimes,
cleaning
that's
your
a real
house,
workout.
you're bending and like lifting things. Like I think you kind of underestimate how much like exercise you can just kind of accidentally do in your own house when you're getting stuff done. So I think not seeing it as such a big scary thing, and like the only way to exercise isn't just going to the gym. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have time for, but we hope this episode helped. I feel like we've kind of talked about loads of random topics today, but hopefully
a bit off piece
it helps. And the main things I would say from this episode is block skinny-tok. We all need to write to TikTok and tell them to change their rules and their algorithm because it's not good. And you should not base your worth on how your body looks. If you want to dress in summer however you want to dress, you should. You shouldn't feel like you need to be exercising or eating all this really, really healthy food. And just you are so much more than your body, and like it should not be the main thing. And anything you're seeing where it's like summer body, it's all just like marketing. It's either to sell something or it's to make you feel bad about yourself. So you should.
Anytime you see something that makes you feel bad about yourself, just question where it's coming from, question what it is, and block it if you need to. If
you want to keep up to date with future episodes, we post updates all the time on our Instagram at mybigsisterpodcast. If you have any dilemmas, feel free to send them in on the email at it's mybigsisterpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to follow our personal accounts, mine are all at Grace Tutty. Josie, yours
I'm Josie V Tutty on Instagram and Josie Violet on YouTube, and Josie
on TikTok?
Violet on TikTok.
You'll find her. She'll come up. But I hope you're all having a really good week. Hopefully the weather is getting good for you guys too, because in London it feels like spring has sprung now, and it's becoming summer now. I hope you're all having a really good week, and we'll see you in our next episode. Bye guys.